What is up, it's Schmeedy, and today I'm here to give you version 2 of my rich trainer run that consistently makes over 225k per hour and can even make almost 260k. What's the reason for version 2? I optimized the route even more to consistently earn around 25k more per run, and that adds up to be a ton over time, especially if you're doing the run 3 times per day at the allowed 6-hour intervals. I did my best to be thorough in this video, where you'll get a full breakdown of the Pokemon used for the run, a cost breakdown of the initial investment to get started, a detailed list of all the requirements needed to do the run, a few different potential team compositions you could use, as well as my preferred team, and of course the step-by-step walkthrough of my run. So if you're into making a large amount of Pokéyen stupid easily and with a minimal upfront investment, stick around to the end of the video because it's information packed from end to end. My original run uses a specifically outfitted Cloyster to do all of the heavy lifting, and it really is quite effective. An awesome member of the community, Delibird Empire, commented on my original video with some great feedback, letting me know about a forum post suggesting using a pair of Mamoswines instead of a Cloyster. I'm going to take a quick sec to say thank you to Delibird Empire and also to the forum posters MMO Duck and Kataways for all of their effort that went into their posts and Mamoswine recommendation. I looked into it and did my own testing, and I made some critical adjustments to not only the Mamoswine and team setup, but also my original rich trainer route, ultimately creating a strategy different from my original run or the forum posts, and I'm really excited to share my results with all of you. A logical question to ask is, why use a Mamoswine instead of a Cloyster? What, if anything, makes it better? Let's do a breakdown of the Pokemon setup and show the thought process behind that. Ideally, it'll be level 100, although you should be able to start using it for the run around level 70 to 75 if you'd rather get 2 birds stoned at once, leveling it the rest of the way and making money at the same time. Just remember, the experience gained and canceling learning new moves will take time and reduce the overall earnings. We needed to have a plus attack nature. Ideally it would be adamant, but it could also be lonely or naughty. You just don't want it to be brave because that reduces its speed. You'll want it to have 31s in its attack and speed IVs, with 15 plus in the others being okay and the special attack stat not mattering. This is one place where my recommendation differs from the forum posts. I think it's helpful to have the speed investment to ensure you always hit first, especially if you're going to start the run pre-level 100. The EV spread will mirror the prioritization of the IVs, having attack and speed maxed with 252. Where you put the extra 6 EVs is pretty unimportant for these purposes, but put them in HP or defense to be optimized. The main move we care about is Icicle Spear. The reason why is because it gets the same type ability bonus or stat bonus because Mamoswine is an ice type, but more importantly it's a move that hits multiple times, so it will be able to one-shot through sturdy abilities, focus sashes, and some annoying berries. You can get a Mamoswine that already knows it, but if you don't find one, no sweat at all. You can purchase the Icicle Spear TM on the first floor of the Celadon department store for just 15k. Having a second powerful 100% chance to hit move like Earthquake is going to be a must. You can get the TM for Earthquake from the same vendor in the Celadon department store for 30k. We needed to have the Oblivious ability, which makes it immune to gender-based moves and abilities and unable to be intimidated, which is really what we're after here. Intimidate is an ability which reduces your team's attack stage by 1, or around 33%, which is actually a massive effect on a total damage output that we'll get into in detail soon. Intimidate can make it a real pain to sweep their team efficiently, and there's a number of opposing Pokemon in the run that have this ability. Lastly, we want to get the loaded dice item for the Mamoswine to hold, which boosts the effectiveness of multi-hit moves, bringing the average hit rate up to 4.5. So now you've got the full breakdown of the Mamoswine, let's see how it stacks up against the Cloyster. It'll be easier to just list off some differences and have them pop up on screen. The things the Mamoswine's got going for it are a much higher base attack stat, while also having a higher base speed stat, the Oblivious ability to avoid being intimidated, the cost difference between loaded dice and a choice band, which is 46 to 50k versus 90k at the time of this recording, the freedom of not being locked into a move from using a choice item, and the fact that the Mamoswine doesn't take any damage from sandstorms. That doesn't mean that the Cloyster is without its merit, because the Cloyster has the skill link ability guaranteeing 5 hits with the Icicle Spear every time, and has a much higher total attack when holding a choice band, and therefore greater capability to one-hit KO ice type resistant Pokemon. This may seem like the Mamoswine is a sure pick over the Cloyster at this point, but I'll do a further head-to-head performance comparison when I go through my results from testing the run, which may actually surprise you. But first I want to go through all of the requirements to be able to complete the Rich Trainer run so you don't go to do it and realize you can't, and also how the actual pathing has changed. Really quick before that though, if you're finding this video helpful so far, please drop a like and subscribe. My kids made me promise that if I hit 500 subs, I'd start live streaming, and honestly I'm really nervous about it, but they're hyped watching the number go up right alongside me. It's really cool to share that with them and be the cool dad with the YouTube channel. If you're watching and I haven't hit 500 yet, subbing will let me know that you want to see that. If you're watching after I've hopefully hit 500, then come hang and stream and say hi. I've gotten so much positive feedback from my videos, and I love the community we're building here, and I'm really looking forward to hanging with you guys live. Oh, and definitely share this with anyone you know who also needs to earn some cash. Okay, now let's talk about the run requirements for you to actually be able to do it. The first thing you'll need other than the Mamoswine is another level 100 Pokemon, because there's 2 double battles along the run, and we'll also be switching your lead Pokemon a couple of times to avoid needing to heal at a Poke Center as many times as the original run. There's really a bunch of different options you can go with here. If you've already been doing the original run with your Cloyster, go ahead and bump it to the second slot. In the original version of my Rich Trainer run, I recommended a Moxie ability Pokemon for the second slot because Moxie increases attack by 1 stage after KOing a Pokemon, so it can also be a great one-hit KO sweeper. If you have one and it's been working well for you, you can go ahead and stick with that as well. The recommendation from the forum is just getting an exact duplicate Mamoswine so you have 2 of the same. The reason for that being that you'll need to heal less often because you can switch along the run like we just mentioned, and you already know it can handle anything that you'll be facing. I'll let you know what I decided to go with and why coming up right after the rest of the run requirements. The next thing you'll need is a few HMs on your team if you don't have the ocarinas for them, so you can access all of the areas on the run. You'll need Surf, Fly, Defog, and Rock Climb. Next are the items you'll need for the run. You'll need an Amulet Coin, which can be purchased from the GTL for between 18 and 19k at the time of this recording. Rich's Charms are around 78.5k, so even though you earn more per hour, for our purposes here, you actually net more profit just using an Amulet Coin. And the only other item you'll need that isn't a held item, that is, would be 1 to 2 basic repels per run, which you can get from a Pokemart for 400 Pokeyen apiece. You'll need to pick these items up from your mailbox if you don't buy them directly from the computer in a Poke Center, which if you do, will actually just go directly into your inventory. You want to register the Amulet Coin and repels to your hotkeys to save you time on your run. For this run, you'll need to have access to a few different endgame regions. You'll need 5 Island in the Kanto region, which, spoiler alert, is really for only 2 trainers, so it can be skipped, or this run can be started before you have access to this part by foregoing those 2 trainers. You will, however, need access to Undella Town in the Unova region, and the survival area and resort areas in the Sinnoh region. Check to be sure you have access to those locations before you go popping that Amulet Coin and starting a run. These are all of the mandatory requirements, but there's a couple bonus things that I highly recommend considering. You'll make an extra 5% if you have donator status active. This is a pretty common thing if you're a shiny hunter, so you may already stand to double dip your benefits from other activities. The next bonus thing you can do is install super strings, which will drastically increase your time savings and earnings by changing your text speed and altering the text bubbles of the game to remove certain text, such as when you use an HM, and combine prompts like when you heal at a Poke Center. It's really easy to install, and I have a short that will show you how to set that up linked in the description. This is an absolute game changer, and while not mandatory to do the run, it is mandatory to hit the kind of earning numbers we're talking about. Going along with increasing your text speed and menu speed is the tip for ultimate mashing technique if you don't already know. You can hold down the A button or equivalent on your controller, or hit Ctrl Z on a keyboard to auto-select the highlighted move and skip text prompts. This is also essential for maximizing your earning during battles and while healing at the Poke Center. You unfortunately won't be able to do this on mobile without a controller, so expect to earn a little less if that's how you do your run. Another consideration you may or may not have thought of, there's the tiniest chance you encounter a shiny Pokemon while on this run, and you'd be really sad if you didn't have your catching Pokemon in your party when that happened. You've got space in your party, so take it along with you just in case. Another tip for maximizing your time and potentially earning some more is leveling a Pokemon by having it hold an EXP share. It could be one that you need to level up for other things you want to do, like gym or Elite 4 reruns, or one that you're leveling up for the specific reason for selling for profit. This will reduce the amount you earn in the hour from the battles because of the extra time from the text telling you about your experience gain, leveling, and learning moves, but it could make you more overall from the sale of that leveled Pokemon. What you might want to level for profit, though, is for a different guide. That's all of the mandatory and bonus requirements for the run. Now that's covered, let's go through my team composition and what kind of results you can expect. I'm going to talk about results here, assuming you're using an Amulet Coin but do not have donator status. If you do, just add an extra 5% on top to get an idea of what to expect. If you decide to roll with your Cloyster in the second slot and stick with the original run, you can expect to earn around 205k if you're XP training something along the way, or around 215k without XP training. You can expect a Moxie Pokemon in the second slot to perform about the same or sometimes a bit worse actually, due to running into a sturdy ability, Focus Sash, or something that can just live a hit. For example, there's a Vaporeon that would live a hit from my Moxie Gyarados' Ice Fang, and the same trainer actually has a Lucario that would live a Crunch. So here you might expect more 200k if you're XP training, and around 210k if you're not. One thing I can absolutely say from my testing is I don't like using the 2 Mamoswine setup recommended in the forum posts at all. I actually had my worst results with this setup, sometimes even getting below 200k in the hour, even without XP training. That was with switching too, avoiding 2 trips to the Poke Center, and it still made less than my original run, and I think it would be even worse without having any speed investment in the Mamoswines. It just requires way too much paying attention to when to use Icicle Spear or Earthquake, and even then there's Pokemon it can't OHKO with Icicle Spear that you can't even hit with Earthquake either because they have Levitate. I mentioned earlier that the Mamoswine has a higher base attack stat, but the Cloyster runs a choice band and can afford to do so because of the skill link ability. That ability actually makes a huge difference too, because Cloyster is guaranteed to hit 5 times, whereas the Mamoswine averages 4.5 hits. But I was burned so many times on my runs by it hitting only twice and not KOing something that it really should. Here's their total damage output calculation, considering they are both level 100, have 31 IVs in attack and speed, along with 252 EVs in attack and speed, and counting that they both get the stab bonus for using an ice move. The differences are the huge boost from the choice band and the little extra from the 5 hits versus the 4.5. Now, when intimidated, the numbers change a bit. Mamoswines stay the same, of course, that's the purpose of the Oblivious ability, but the Cloyster's attack will be lowered by 1 stage or 33%. That's a huge number as you can see, but I find it really isn't noticeable actually because it doesn't prevent the Cloyster from getting its easy one-hit KOs. There's only 3 Pokemon in the whole run I've come across that the Cloyster won't OHKO, which is far fewer than the Mamoswine. After doing a deep dive, crunching the numbers, and doing a bunch of different test permutations, I found that using the Cloyster as the main with the Mamoswine to sub in at specific times during the run to have move flexibility and take advantage of the Oblivious ability consistently earned the most money with the least amount of thinking or effort. I adjusted my original run to swap one in for the other so there's 2 fewer Poke Center visits needed, allowing for squeezing in another 2 to 3 trainers and around 25k in income, bringing my totals to around 215k if you're XP training, or around 225k without XP training. That's pretty freaking awesome for being able to pretty much turn your brain off and go on autopilot once you've got the pathing down. I'll quick break down the Cloyster setup in case you don't have one already. Like the Mamoswine, we needed to have a plus attack nature that's not brave. Adamant would be ideal. 31 in attack and speed IVs with 252 in attack and speed EVs. As mentioned already, it'll have the skill link ability and be holding a choice band, and have Icicle Spear PP maxed at 48 in its first move slot. We already talked about the Mamoswine setup at length, but one thing I didn't mention yet is Mamoswine is actually a great OU PvP Pokemon, so if you play PvP now, or have any intentions of doing so in the future and have the resources now, it's worth investing in a 5x31 Mamoswine. I'll include that consideration when doing the cost analysis. Another thing worth mentioning is that I have rock climb on my non-PvP Mamoswine. I purchased 2 so I could run the test, of course. One I got just for this purpose, and that's the one with rock climb, and the one I got to be able to double as a PvP Pokemon. There is only one trainer that you gain access to with the rock climb, so if you'd rather skip it altogether and not need the HM on your team, I understand. As a quick review, my first Mamoswine that is not the PvP one is level 100 with an adamant nature, 31 attack and speed IVs, 252 attack and speed EVs with the oblivious ability, holding the loaded dice item, and with a PP max icicle spear in the first move slot. Its second move is Earthquake, necessary for 2 trainers in particular, and Rock Climb that we have as just mentioned. For the other HMs we need on the run, Fly, Surf, and Defog, they can all be covered by one Pokemon. I used a Pelipper because I already had a junk one in my box that became instantly useful. Check what you already have that would work, or get the cheapest possible option on the GTL. Then be sure to register Defog to your hotbar for faster use on the run. The last Pokemon I take with me if I'm not XP training is my catching Pokemon, just in case I one day see a shiny that I know exists only because I see other people have them. I use a Breloom that knows Spore and False Swipe, which is widely recognized as one of the best in the game for this purpose, although they typically have the Technician ability. Getting that set up will be for a different guide, however. Now let's talk about the initial investment to make this happen. The Amulet Coin is about 18.5k. 2 repels are 800. 2 PP maxes for Icicle Spear on 2 Pokemon are 35.4k. And 1 loaded dice is 48k. Bringing our subtotal for everything you need before the actual Pokemon to 102,700. Because I'm planning on playing more PvP, I wanted to snag a viable Mamoswine. I found one for 715k, which is significantly more than if you chose to not go with one that wouldn't hack it in PvP but be perfectly functional for the run. Along with the 36.9k ability pill, that would bring the total investment, considering you already have a Pokemon for the second slot, to around 854,600, which you'd make back in about 3 to 5 runs. The more budget Mamoswine I purchased specifically for this run was 300k. They both already knew Icicle Spear, so I didn't need to buy the TM. Once again, if you opted to go with the Pokemon in the second slot that you already had, like the Cloyster or Moxie Pokemon you were already using, that would make your initial investment only 402,700, which you'd make back in just 2 runs. If you chose to have 2 pretty much identical Mamoswines as the forum suggested and picked up another for the same price, the total investment would be around 750,700, which you'd make back in 3 to 4 runs. Add 15k for an Icicle Spear TM or 30k for an Earthquake TM to your total if you end up needing them. Now if you didn't see the original run, don't have a Cloyster, and need to buy that too, no worries, I looked into that as well. At the time of this recording, I was seeing viable Cloysters for around 110k or a whopping 190,000 cheaper than even the non-PvP Mamoswine. So as you can see, the Mamoswines are certainly more costly, even though they're not necessarily better for this purpose. The price is definitely driven up by its PvP popularity. Add another 90k to the total for the choice band needed for the Cloyster, bringing the initial investment with the non-PvP Mamoswine to 602,700, which will make back in just 3 runs. This is definitely my preferred option and what the rest of the walkthrough is based around. Alright, I feel like we've covered everything I could think of that would be useful before going through the actual run pathing and what I've changed versus the original run now that we've got this Mamoswine to switch in. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments. Really quick before that, if you're still here and finding valuable info in this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more PokeMMO guides and content like this, and share it with someone you know that also needs to make some easy Pokeyen. I started this channel to have fun and connect with people, and wow, my expectations have been completely blown away. So thank you, it really does mean a lot, and I sincerely appreciate everyone that's watching. Now let's get into the actual pathing we'll take and the very few things to look out for. We'll be starting the run with Mamoswine leading your party and Cloyster in the second slot. We'll begin at 5 Islands in the Kanto region, and make sure you have your Amulet Coin and Repel ready to go before leaving the island. We're going to surf north, bound to encounter a couple of Tentacool along the way, unless you choose to use a Repel. If you do, just know that will cut into your profits the extra 400 Pokeyen. That's alright. And you're going to head up to this island here that has this white hat rich girl trainer and the other one over there. This is where you'll pop your Amulet Coin and begin your run. You'll face her and use your bike, head on over, face her as well. These are the only 2 trainers in the Kanto region. that we're actually going to face. So once they're defeated, you can fly on over to Vermilion and ride your bike down to the ferry and head over to the Unova region. Then we're going to fly immediately to Undella Town. And then we're going to head north through this pass here. And then over up these stairs, we're going to face this old lady trainer here. And then this rich old man here. And then I'll show you what this looks like, so you get a chance to see. Right now I'm mashing A on my controller to auto select the moves like we talked about. And so you see it saves a good bit of time there, skipping through the text prompts. There's a good example of where the Oblivious comes in handy, because the Intimidate would have lowered the attack of the team, but not for the Mamoswine, that is. Not for Peaches. We'll go through only one battle, because it does get fairly repetitive. That's why you're able to shut your brain off and have it on your second monitor while you're doing something else and still making a whole bunch of Pokeyen. There's another Intimidate that comes out and is avoided, so pretty cool to use this one as the example. Alright, that was 5400 without the Amulet Coin, I might add. So you can see these are certainly the rich trainers here. After that, we're going to fly over to a Plucid and have a decent ride west here through the pass. We're going to go up into Mall 9, head up the right side, up the stairs, and face this rich boy trainer here. And then head on up and face this rich girl trainer here. That's it for the mall. After that, we're going to head right on out and fly back to a Plucid. This is where in the original run you normally need to heal for the first time, but instead we're just going to swap our Cloyster into that first slot, hop right on the bike, and head on up through this pass. You're going to skip this first trainer here, and then head on up the stairs and face the remaining trainers along this route. So you're going to face this guy here, you're going to face this one, you're going to face this one, and then lastly you'll face this one. And that actually wraps up the Unova region. You can see other people with their Cloysters here. And then we're going to fly on over to Castelia to take the pretty long annoying path here over to the ferry, where we're going to head to the Sinnoh region, which is where the bulk of the run will take place. Once getting to the Sinnoh region, we're going to fly immediately to Veilstone. And then we're going to head south here, wrapping around the path and going through the through pass. Continuing south, and then facing this trainer here, P.I. Carlos. He actually typically only has 4 Pokemon. It gives you something like 9 grand, which is why he's the only NPC whose name I remember. So we're gonna fly back to Veilstone after that. And then we're gonna head west this time, wrapping around this windy path and going through this through pass to an area that is always raining, annoyingly enough, but it's no big deal really. You'll face this first trainer here, and then definitely face the top one first, and then you're actually going to swap back to your Mamoswine being first in your party, and you'll face this bottom trainer after that. The reason why is because the trainer has a floatzel that will actually be faster than your Cloyster and hit it with Focus Blast, which does a good bit of damage. That's not the real issue though. The real issue is that it just wastes time. So avoid that with that quick swap here. Next, we're going to fly over to Hearthholm. And this is where you will heal for the first time. So head on into the Poke Center, heal up, and head on out. And then now we're going to go south and wrap around the path through the through pass here, the southern one. And this path is pretty annoying, but you'll get used to it, wrapping around these trees and bushes. And you'll face this first old lady trainer here, and then this old man trainer here. Now this part of the path is really the bane of my existence. That's alright, we'll get used to it. And then now you're gonna come up here and face this rich girl. Face the rich girl first, because when you face this rich boy, you actually need to pay attention a little bit, because he has an Azumarill and an Empoleon that will live a 5 total hit from Icicle Spear from the Cloyster or the Mamoswine. Doesn't matter which, they'll live both of them. So that's kind of annoying, but that's why we have the Mamoswine in with the Earthquake, to be able to use that and be able to Oko those two Pokemon. So that makes it no big deal, just the tiniest little bit of paying attention there. Once done there, now we're going to fly over to Solaceon. And we're going to head up here through this narrow route and face your first double battle. No issues here, you can just mash completely for both Pokemon, Icicle Spearing. Bing bang boom, and then you're gonna fly over to Sunyshore. And this is another decent trip west here, where we're gonna go through the pass. Gonna go across the beach, and we're gonna go up and face this rich boy trainer here. Now, swap back to the Cloyster to lead the party, and fly up to the survival area, one of those endgame regions. Now this is one of the most annoying parts of the route as well. You can choose to use a repel here. I usually don't because I'm too cheap, but sometimes get caught by an encounter, even two, which is the really annoying part. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, I actually made it lucky this time. This is where we'll use Rock Climb and face this green hair trainer here. This is the one that you can skip if you don't want to have Rock Climb on your team. After that, fly back to the survival area. And we're going to head west in between those two trainers there, up these stairs. And then this is where you definitely do need to use a repel. To go through this grass, we're going to skip this trainer and head on south down around this path, face this green hair trainer, come up here and down these stairs, face this green hair trainer, and then down the stairs and face this green hair trainer, the last one in the area. After that, we're going to fly over to Celestic Town. And this is where you'll actually need to use Defog. So we're going to head over to these stairs, hit that Defog hotbar button that we prepared, and face this rich trainer, or this old guy here, and head over the bridge. You're going to skip this green hair trainer, you're going to skip this black belt, and continue wrapping around this path, and now you're going to face this green hair trainer. You're going to head down the stairs, you're going to face this double battle, another one that you can totally just mash through with both of the Icicle Spear Pokemon. And then head down the stairs and face this final green hair trainer in this area. After that, we'll fly up to Snow Point. This is the part of the path where Others will head over to an area that has a sandstorm. With the Mamoswine that doesn't take any damage, that could be a good idea, but man, I really just hate the amount of time that it takes to go through all those text prompts even if you're not taking damage, so I prefer to go this way first. And before doing anything else, we're gonna head on in here to heal for the second and final time that you should need to on this run. And then we're gonna head on up into the gym. We're gonna start behind this guy here, the tips guy, and then we're gonna go straight north. Then we're gonna go east, face this guy here, and then we're gonna head back to the right over east, and then head north and face this trainer here. This is the one that has a Gengar that can have Curse Body, which is super annoying, especially sometimes the trainer will lead with it, and if you get Curse Bodied on the first move, it's really pretty annoying. But then you can just swap in your Mamoswine to take care of this battle, and then move right along from there. So we're gonna head over to the right and down, face this trainer here, head down these stairs and over one, and then down, over to the right, and then up and face this trainer here, head back down, over to the left, go up these stairs and head north here and face this trainer. Now this one has a Frostlass that for some reason, I don't know, I low-key feel like it's kind of bugged, but it just has a ridiculous amount of evasion. Most of the time it's no issue, but sometimes it will just like dodge, and you're like, why is this even happening? And it can end up just like killing your entire team if you're not paying attention. So pay attention the slightest bit here. If you do end up missing that first Icicle Spear on that Frostlass, go ahead and switch to your Mamoswine for this one, and you should be able to take care of the rest of this battle, no problem. Then we're gonna head on over to the right, back to the left and down to face this last trainer in the gym, over to the left, down and over to the right, and then south out of the gym. After facing the Snow Point gym, then we're gonna fly over to the resort area, and we're gonna head north up this path here, and then you're gonna face this green hair trainer and then face this green hair trainer after that. The reason why you're gonna face this one first is because there is a Slowbro in the Snow Point gym that might live a hit from the Cloyster, making you need to use an extra Icicle Spear PP on it. If that's the case, then you'll actually need to swap to your Mamoswine before facing this left green hair trainer, and this one has Pokemon with Intimidate that it's just better to have the Mamoswine to face. So that's the reasoning there. Now we are going to have the Mamoswine leading the party for the rest of the way here, so we're going to swap back to that and then follow this little path along those trees there, hoping you get lucky and not need to use a repel. And then we're going to head up into this sandstorm area that I mentioned earlier. We're going to head into this little nook here and face this green hair trainer. Okay, we're going to head up this path, and you're going to face this green hair trainer on the right. We're not going to face this green hair trainer on the left, because even with the Mamoswine, it's got some Pokemon that are pretty annoying, especially in Agron, that will use the move Endeavor. It will live a hit, use the move Endeavor, which is very powerful, and then eat a berry to go first, and use Endeavor again, KOing your Pokemon, and kind of just effectively ending the run there. So don't do that, just skip this Pokemon, or trainer rather, and then head north up here. And then this is another spot where you could use a repel, but man, cutting into those profits, just try to get lucky. Oh, which I am not here. That's fair. I got lucky with the survival area grass. Who knows, maybe this is where you see your shiny. And that's why we've got that catching Pokemon in the party for these purposes here. Oh man. Super unlucky this time. But that's alright. It would have been awesome if I actually got my first ever shiny while recording this. That would have been something, huh? That would have been something if I got my first shiny going through that, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's why you take it. You never know what's going to happen. But then you face this green hair trainer here. We're going to skip this black belt and then face this final green hair trainer here. And this is the farthest that I typically make it on this run in 1 hour with that Amulet Coin, with perfect pathing, getting lucky, not getting caught with running into the wild encounters in those grass areas, or if you just end up opting to spend the extra 400, 800 on the repels, whatever. Yeah. And just like that, you will have completed the run and earned an easy 225 or maybe even almost 260k for your hour of time. Leave a comment with what team setup you opted to go with and how much you were able to earn. If you followed my team to the T and ran into some issues I didn't mention, there is a lot of variability in the NPC's teams after all, even if I did do a bunch of testing. Definitely let me know that in the comments so I can give others the heads up too. Or if you've made any adjustments to optimize your run, I'd be really interested to hear that as well. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if this video helped you out, and share it with someone else who needs to make some Pokeyen. Thanks for watching, I greatly appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you next time.